twisting and turning inside out. Beautiful move. Trying to get the shot on. He holds. He shoots. He scores! Absolutely.
The pitch. High fly ball center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall. Goal!
Roethlisberger gives him a lot of room here. Juju Smith-Schuster off to the races inside the 30, the 20, the 10.
Okay, so we're live. Sorry, folks. This is live TV. We've had this happen a few times in the past.
Sorry about our conversation if you...
Yeah, if you caught any of our off-the-record talk, it's all the truth except for one other person, but we're trying to work on that. Thanks for watching our show, Pittsburgh Sportsline, live in the BPTV studios. We're all here, okay? We just didn't have the graphics. We had a countdown, and we didn't see anything. So we're creatures of habit. If you've heard about Pavlov and dogs, which Smokin' Jim hasn't, we're well trained. So again, thank you for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 in Bethel Park, all the way from Nemacolin, greater Pittsburgh area, all the way out to Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between. We appreciate you out there. And thanks for being loyal fans and watching us on Facebook. I got to try to connect. And thank you for all the likes on our Facebook page. We're at 6,924. We're trying to get 7,000. I was at a KO reunion we've been doing for a dozen years. Tony DiPaolo said to say hi to Smokin' Jim Frazier.
Right.
He said, I would have liked to meet him. I go, he's Batman. He goes, I understand. He goes, but I watch you. My friend from Greentree a long time ago, Bill Russo, says, yeah, I watch the shows. My quarterback, who was all conference, 1974, Rich DeMayo. Hello, Rich. He said, I said, you going to stock my show? He goes, I'm going to watch it. So he's going to watch it. Bill Means, I met in person. He was there.
He's an honorary Gateway Gator. We made him.
Guess what? He'd tear your team up. And yeah, he told some great stories and just had a fun time. I met a whole bunch of younger guys that graduated in the last 7-8 years. I gave them some cards. They go, we want to be a guest on your show.
Was
We
Nick
heard
there?
about you.
Was Nick there?
Nick who? Nick who? You're not even
That's
listening.
it, out of sight, out of mind, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He didn't go, but some of the other guys did from 7 or 8 years ago. When did Nick graduate?
About 5.
Probably 4, but yeah, you're close. You're close. I just had to get that out of the way, and everybody, now we got some promos. I got to try to connect here, but we'll get that in a minute or two. All right, let's get these promos since we got the camera crew here. And first, I better tell you who I am. Al Levine, the Talking Machine. I assume you know me. If you're new, now you know you got the Talking Machine. Smokin' Jim Frazier. Chip Hayner, recovering nicely from his knee replacement. You should see him walk. And he got another knee replacement coming this year, too, Smokin' Jim. Just announced today. And then we got the fill-in volunteer A2, otherwise known as Anthony, or as Smokin' Jim calls him, Tony.
Or how about the Pepto-Bismol kid?
I like Pepto. It's very good. I need it with this show.
You needed a pink mask.
Whoa, that would have made it. So he's here again.
A2, just
I know. It's
all in good fun.
And not only did Nick miss the reunion, he probably didn't get an invite because you got to be on the email list. Okay. You're on it, but you don't answer your emails. So Coach Murray set it all up. It was just a great event.
Awesome.
And Caliente Pizza in Mount Lebanon, very nice place, great wings, great hoagies, great pizza, great conversation. And it all started at 1 o'clock. And
that's before Jim gets out of bed.
Well, so he says. So he says. How about when he's not sleeping? All right, we better get down to some
watching
serious.
2 football games through his eyelids.
Yes. All right, since I know it's working, I just won't look up at our screen because we always double check. We got a screen that shows how good looking we are here. So I'm not bragging, I'm
Yeah,
just
we're
saying.
so good looking we wear masks.
Yeah. Well, I'm wearing mine to stay healthy. That kidney transplant, I'll explain to Smoking Jim since he asked off air. I'm at high risk because of the drugs I'm on, and I have one kidney. Now, people don't believe it, but anti-remission drugs keep you from rejecting your kidney, so it weakens your immune system. Now, I'll explain it in a gateway person's simple terms. Your immune system protects you from heart issues, pneumonia, not being able to walk. Those are immune issues because when you can't walk like a good brother and you're limping around, but that protects you. Mine is weakened. Like I just had an excellent report from my PCP. He said, see you in 6 months. Saw my dermatologist to check for cancer. See you next year. So I got 2 good bills of health, and those are things that are good, but for anybody that doesn't understand, like my BFF, my immune system's becoming weak every day. So I could get colds easier than anybody.
I wonder if red light therapy would help.
No. No. And I told you about the sauna. That helped me for a couple years. You could have done it.
Did that help AB with his CTE?
No. All right. Well, here we got Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Rico, the Puerto Rican, made our pizza and hoagie, said to say hi. And he did a great job. They got great Italian food. Pizza, hoagies, Italian food, salads, desserts, you name it. And they're just a great place. 412-831-1900, Hillcrest Shopping Center. So just go there. They had nice people. I had a nice lady, had a conversation about Pittsburgh 40 years ago. I'm not saying her age, but it was about 40 years ago. All right, stay Joey strong. We end each show. Poor Joey died 8 years old, and he died 7 years ago, and the family started the Joey Fabius Childhood Cancer Foundation to find a cure for DIPG. The brain cancer, I don't know all the letters to it, but it's a deadly brain cancer, kills them within a year. Poor Joey didn't make it. They ended up raising over $100,000 to try to find a cure, and they've been talking to Dr. Gary at the Children's Hospital, and they're looking at like they're getting close to finding some way to help these children with DIPG. So we'll have to see what happens. Check out their great event in September, the 5K 1 mile superhero Joey Fabius run. It's a great event, and we film it every year. I've done it and interviewed people except for the one when I got my kidney transplant. But that's my story there. Just like their page, donate some money, as little as $1. Anything can help out. And when we can go out and do different events, you can help. Next up, Bethel Park Society, Historical Society, Schoolhouse Arts, and History Center. I can look at my phone. Perfecto. Thanks, A2, Anthony, Tony, Swagoo, anything else. 2600 South Park Road. The old 1905 schoolhouse has been redone, remodeled, new windows, new roof, new cupola. The old bell's back there. They got a new flag from like 50 years ago there. So it's a great historical flag. And they do a lot of great things, great library, all the yearbooks for the high school, you name it. We have our meetings for the Community Foundation every 2 months. It's 7 o'clock, and we just had a great meeting the other day. So it's a great place. Check it out. Not only that, they have Reginald's Coffee, one of the best places to get my loose leaf green tea. And if you like coffee, they have fresh roasted coffee on a roaster right in the place. You can see it in action. And people have told me, probably 50 to 100 people, because you know I know a few people here in Bethel, that it's better than Starbucks, where I see people lining up early in the morning and late in the evening. So get your coffee, Reginald's Coffee. All right. Here we go. Thanks for the tip, Anthony. I'm going to check this phone out now that I know it's working and on. It always helps if technology works. When it doesn't, Oh, here we go. Always be smiling. We have no cameraman, but somehow A1 and Ryan are doing this. What a great job they're doing. They're showing we don't need A2 on camera. I didn't want to say it last week because they just proved to me. We got a volunteer who Ryan and Anthony here, they volunteer each week to help us on Pittsburgh Sportsline. I want to thank both of them publicly. Ryan's learning to run the control room right now, and he was thrown at it last week, and he did it. There were a few issues that come up, and I said, don't worry about it. You'll be better this week. So we had another issue that we can work on at the beginning, and another issue we're looking at right now on the screen up there. So we'll handle it. But guess what? He's learning this, and you can't beat it. And they keep showing up each week. And it's not just for the pizza and hoagie. Just thought I'd share that. Always be smiling. B stands for Bennett, who died at 16 and a half years old. His mother, Kristen, and dad, Dean, who gave a kidney to Bennett to save his life. He had 2 kidney transplants. His older brother, born a few years before him, died of kidney disease after a few days. And they raise money and they help people that need kidney transplants and kids. And they help many in our Pittsburgh area. So thanks for all the likes. I sent out so many like this page that people are still liking it as of yesterday. So thanks to all of you for liking the page. We got it at well over 1,000 likes, and that helps get the publicity out to get them to help others. So thank you very much. We're on the kidney roll here. Kathleen Miller, a friend of mine, Edie, mentioned Kathleen needed help. I became friends with Kathleen, and we've talked a few times. I'll have to call her up and wish her Happy New Year. If not, Happy New Year, Kathleen. Her kidney function was 17, down to 16. She has a living donor because of what we've been promoting on our show each week for the last 6 months. We'll find out when she needs the transplant, who it is, and we can thank them personally. And we might have even helped, she said, to get her that donor. So we'll find out. All right. Another great 501c3 here that has money for you. Not you, Smoking Jim. Bethel Park Community Foundation has $100 to $5,000 in grants. We've given out over $1 million in 25 years. Go to bpcf.org, get an application. Just gave some money to a couple other groups, and even South Park, the Children's Theater there, they've revamped it, remodeled it. We donated money to it, and there'll be a plaque talking about the Community Foundation, which I'm a trustee on. This helped them out. They have a special event on April 23rd, so mark your calendars for a Saturday, April 23rd, rain or shine. You got to pay for tickets, Smoking Jim, but you can go out there and have a good time there. There'll be entertainment, music, and performances. All right, something dear to my heart. I think it's going to show up. There was a little delay. Bang. Santa for seniors, and what's nice, Anthony, is I can read it right from my phone. I can hold this up. Donate blankets and Pittsburgh sports gear, and we have some in the garbage can that I have that's clean and new and fresh right outside. Come in the glass doors at the municipal building. Police are on the right. BPTV's on the left. There's a clock. That's where our donation can is. And people are putting some stuff in there. We have until Valentine's Day. Maybe a day later, I'll pick up stuff and give it to Gwen, who's out there in Perrysville Avenue where they're at. And she's looking at even a couple other places that we can help out. So Santa for seniors, don't forget to donate blankets and whatever sports gear and wear you have in Pittsburgh. Thank you so much. Jessica Lee and I both thank you for doing it. We're going to do it again next year and try to help more communities even in our local area. All right, Dave Cable likes to have a little bit of fun. We'll see if that comes up. You know this little delay. All right, here we go. I want you for BPTV. Tell them Uncle Al wants you for BPTV. You can be like A2, A1, Ryan, Nick, who's not here, and anybody else that helps out. I won't mention their names since they're not here, but Nick's a special case. He's working for that radio station called The Fan. We don't admit that we listen to it or whatever, so, but he's out there. If you're in high school, this is a great opportunity for you. There's different things you can do after school here. Dave Cable's a great teacher. He can help you if you're interested in this line of work, and he can help you for your future schooling. Like Ryan and A2 are graduates who are still helping out here, and they're getting better all the time. I don't like to boost their egos up, but they're doing very well for me in Pittsburgh Sportsline. They've done graphics, they've done videos, they've done commercials. Oh, well, they're just good guys. You can be with us, too. All right, so we're going to go to What's on Your Mind, Smoking Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
There's an easy one. Oh,
you got to see Levine.
that's the third drop. That's his third ever drop on our show.
That must look like Pat Mahomes.
No, he had a deer in the headlight look. Oh, yeah, that was his look.
But all I can say is, Ovi, yes we can with Ovechkin. It's going to be a good one tonight. What a rivalry. The Penguins
Why do you
versus-
talk negative about our local teams?
I love Ovechkin.
We're Penguin fans.
Huh? Well, you're not a fan of, you can't be a fan of hockey if you don't like Ovechkin.
Yes, you can.
You like him, don't you? He's a great player. But anyhow.
Go
anywho,
Penguins.
I love the
Well, let me
Penguins,
put it
too.
to you this way.
Ovechkin's my favorite player.
He's a great individual talent in the team sport.
Here, let me do the disclaimer that has to come out. I need a plastic hammer so I can just hit him in the head. Smoking Jim told me what a great mentor James Harrison was. And I told him I had guys that I thought were mentors. They were tour mentors. He never had any other player or anybody spot him whenever he lifted or worked out. So I have one question for Jim, and he couldn't answer it. Who was he helping or mentoring? Zero.
Good point.
Ovechkin's a one-trick pony. He's great at it, so I give him credit for scoring goals. If Mario Lemieux, I want to explain something to you since you don't know history here, and you think we're always kidding about Mario. He retired in 1997. He scored 50 goals that year and thought he wasn't doing as well as he could. So he quit for 3.5 years. If he would have averaged 40 goals a year, the 3 years he missed, he would have had over 800 goals. When you don't understand anything that I'm saying.
No, I
But
do.
what does that mean?
That means he still wouldn't have been called the greatest. That's Gretzky.
No, he would have been better than Ovechkin.
Huh? Oh, well, good point. Good point.
You missed the point I was making. You're talking Ovi.
Well, here's
I
the,
rest my case.
here's the point.
Don't
I wanna
believe
make.
him.
Hey, listen, nobody's a bigger Tom Brady fan than me. What a hard worker. But Tom Brady came out. Listen, nobody retires after 43 touchdown passes. But Tom Brady, because Big Ben would have had about 7 Super Bowls if it wasn't for Tom Brady in New England. Now he's sticking it to Big Ben again because he didn't like the way Big Ben, the Steeler fans, supported Big Ben, came out for Big Ben, filled the stadium for Big Ben. Brady didn't like that, so he announced his retirement, and he might knock Big Ben out of the first ballot Hall of Famer. But what's on my mind?
Hold on a second. Where do you even get your facts? Go ahead.
I'm going.
All right.
What's on my mind, Al Levine, the talking machine? Congratulations. Another big 33 guy is going to the Super Bowl. Tyler Boyd, a.k.a. the weak link of the Cincinnati Bengals. Listen, Cincinnati Bengals got to get rid of this guy. He's making $43 million. And in my opinion, he is the 6th best option on offense. I'll name them for you. Number 1, Joe Burrows is number 1. Jamar Chase, and he's making more than Burrows. Jamar Chase is number 2. Joe Mixon is number 3. T. Higgins is number 4. The kicker, Evan McPherson's number 5. Tyler Boyd's number 6, making over $10 million a year, $43 million contract. Way too much money for the weak link of the team. And that's what's on my mind. Al Levine, the talking machine.
Thanks, Smoking Jim. Glad you could get to the point.
Weekly.
Chip Hayner, what's on your mind?
Couple of things on my mind. So, we had a host of this show talk about glowingly about Kenny Pickett. Oh, he's the next coming. Okay. So just to give you my take on Kenny Pickett, and then I'm going to talk about the NFL, if I may. Okay,
yes.
Here's my take on Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett quit on his team in the biggest game in the school's history in the last 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the team that he helped them to win an ACC championship. So he decided not to play in the final game, the Peach Bowl, against a team that had been rated in the top 10 to really show what he could do against top caliber talent instead of the talent that wasn't in the ACC this year. Okay? No, come on, let's be honest with you. The ACC was as bad as it's ever been. So he doesn't play in that game because he's worried about his professional career and he's worried about getting hurt and not being healthy for the draft. So then what does he decide to do? He decides to play in a completely meaningless game, an exhibition game that means nothing to anybody, but he's going to play in this game, kind of slapping Pitt across the face, saying, thank you for nothing. I think it's a real bad decision. I don't believe that Kenny Pickett is a first-round draft talent. I have seen a lot of great college quarterbacks fail miserably in the NFL, and you look at his career. 5 years at Pitt, he had one good year, okay? And there's no consistency there. There is no guarantee that he's going to be the next coming, and all of a sudden, talk radios talking about how the Steelers have no other choice but to draft Kenny Pickett, to trade up and draft. I don't think the Steelers are drafting number 20. I don't think Kenny Pickett's a top 20 draft pick, number one. Number two, I think the Steelers got bigger problems than quarterback to fix this offseason. So let's, you know what? We'll wait until the draft comes along and the free agency's done, and we'll find out where they're at. Then we'll start criticizing them for what they did or didn't do. But up until that point, let them figure it out. They probably will.
Great points, Chip. Carry
Okay,
on.
so the NFL, they had championship weekend. Okay, so a championship weekend, we had the Chiefs, we had the Bengals, we had the Rams, we had the 49ers. And at the end of the day, we had Roger Goodell holding his head in both hands going, oh my word, what are we going to do? Because you've got the Rams and you've got the Bengals in the Super Bowl, okay? Now, the Rams are so popular in Los Angeles that there were more 49er fans in the stands at their home game for the NFC Championship than there were Rams fans.
Chip, this is one of the few times that I heard announcers say L.A. is actually using the silent count with the leg stomp in their own home stadium.
Well, if you looked at the stadium,
Shocking.
stadium, there was more red in that stadium than blue and gold.
I could see it, yeah.
So there's that. Then you've got the Bengals, and unless you live in southwestern Ohio, who wants to watch the Bengals? All right? So television ratings.
Bill Means, my man, he's in Cincinnati.
Well,
Super Bowl Bengals.
okay, good for him.
He'll be there watching, and his family.
And you know what? And God bless him. But
just bringing that up.
So television ratings, it will still be the highest rated television program on television this year.
Yeah.
But it's going to be one of the lowest rated Super Bowls, and I bet you at least the last decade.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
It has that potential.
So that leads me to, you hear what they say in Cincinnati. Who they, right? Who they think's going to watch the Bengals? Nobody.
Oh. Again, these are Chip's opinions. We're going to carry on. with Anthony now. Anthony, what's on your mind?
That's a good point there by Chip.
Yes,
But,
he's allowed to make a good point or two.
What's been on my mind is recently it's the end of an era in the NFL for the quarterbacks. Growing up, all the quarterbacks that I saw get drafted, such as Phillip Rivers, both the Manning brothers, Drew
Oh, to
Brees.
tell people how old you are.
I'm 21.
See that? I'll put anybody on. I don't care what age you are.
So all the rookies growing up when I was like 4, 5, 6, watching them play.
And you've been watching sports since then.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
And it's just crazy
Just to clarify that.
to think that not a single one will be playing in the next season. They're all gone. It's to be the first season next year without a single one of these Hall of Famers.
What a shock to your system.
It is really shocking because I'm not used to it. Because you just
You
watch,
never saw it.
Yeah, you see Big Ben every day, every week. You see Brady every week.
Mm-hmm.
You would see Drew Brees with the Saints every week. Phillip Rivers with the Chargers.
Right.
Both the Manning brothers, and
How
now they're all
about Sean
gone.
Payton? You're not going to see him either.
You're not going to see a lot of people. It's crazy.
I had to bring that up. He
Uh,
found out he couldn't win without Drew Brees.
Yeah, it's just really, it's really like not.
Couldn't win with them.
No comment. No comment there.
It's just not like it just feels so weird being like.
No, that's an interesting perspective. I
Yeah.
didn't think about it like that because I see these end of these eras, but at 65, I've seen it happen numerous
Yeah,
times.
so that's like the
It's
first
the first
for me.
for you. Yeah.
So a quarterback
Great point.
with Big Ben, I grew up watching my whole life, is now no
Uh-huh.
longer gonna be
Right.
there. So watching the Steeler games doesn't feel. It's probably not gonna feel the same to me anymore. So it's gonna be kind of crazy.
Well,
I don't know
let me
where they're gonna
interrupt
go
you.
though.
It's not going to feel the same for me either.
Yeah.
You know, Alan, you and I and Jim, we watched, the Steelers become the dynasty of the 70s and became one of the greatest teams in the history of professional football.
Right.
And then we watched that team get old and the wheels fell off the bus.
And
And we suffered through the 80s.
Oh,
They had
yeah.
some good teams,
Yeah, I heard
but
about that.
we walked out of the 80s with Bubby Brister.
Chip, thanks for bringing that up. And this is what our young man here is going through. He's going to suffer.
It's
It's
gonna
hard
be
to
weird.
take.
At least we got 2 with Ben though. That's all I'm happy about. I got to see 3 Super Bowls when we lost sadly to the Packers, but at least we got 2 out of it. I mean, I'm happy with that. That's
No,
all
you
that
got to
matters.
be, yeah.
Yeah. Some teams get 0, so look at the Browns.
Oh,
They're never
Yeah.
gonna win.
yeah,
Hey,
definitely.
they won a playoff game.
Yep.
One win in 20 years.
And now they're
That's
out
a
of the playoffs
streak.
again.
That's a streak.
Yeah, hey, it's something. No, great point.
Yeah, it's
Thanks for
crazy.
bringing that up. All right, I'm going to go to what's on my mind. First of all, thanks to Bill Means for watching. Great to see you too there. Glad you made it home safe. And Bill Means said nobody from Gateway was allowed to go to our reunion. Amy, thanks for watching the show. She works at the Giant Eagle Bakery. She's glad Smoking Jim's feeling better. Well, we never know how he's feeling, Amy. I don't think you understand. Chip's the one that had the surgery on his knee, and he's feeling better. Smoking Jim doesn't tell us anything about his health or private life. Thanks for a couple Pittsburgh Post-Gazette press guys. Bob Beers is watching. Mark Richards watching. Joe Board from Board Boxing.
All right.
And Pete Kasich, our man who eats everything that Bill Boyce puts out. So thank you guys for watching that. What's on my mind is, the legendary Tom Brady retired. I was never really a fan of him or the Patriots, although I did respect what he did and was able to do. And one of the things that surprises me, and rarely do you see a guy leave at the top of his game, 5,300 yards, 40 TD passes, leading the top 4 categories in passing, and he retired because Giselle finally told him, you got to take care of these kids, buddy. So I give him credit. He'll be first ballot Hall of Fame. He is the true GOAT. When you talk about Super Bowls, people disrespect Terry Bradshaw and say he wasn't that good of a quarterback. But I just wanted to bring this fact up because it's gotten lost in the shuffle. Bradshaw only played 10 years. He won 4 Super Bowls. How many people can compare their careers to that?
Good point.
And that gets lost in the shuffle here. And guess what? Terry's still on TV at his advanced age of in his 70s. And he's giving away his own money. So how bad can that be? We're going to come back with some fiction and fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the Talking Machine. And just to correct my best friend, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, Brady's wife had nothing to do with his retirement. He did it to stick it to Ben one more time.
Oh, the disclaimer again, the opinions of my co-host are only his own. And he has no proof of this, as usual.
So,
Carry on.
So when they both get into the Hall of Fame in 2027, will there be more Steeler fans or Patriot fans in the audience?
Well, in 2027, when Ben goes in 2028, there'll be more Steeler fans. I think this is going to knock Ben out of being the first ballot Hall of Famer. That's why Tom Brady's doing it. But we'll see. We'll see. Tom Brady, he always sticking
Smokin'
it to
Jim,
Ben.
I got a question since you're deviating away from all this stuff. Can't you have more than one first-time Hall of Famer in a class?
Yeah, you can.
Okay,
Ben will
I
go-
rest my case. Carry on.
Ben will go
I
in-
rest my case.
Ben will go with
I rest my case.
Ben will go in with Phillip Rivers in 2028.
I rest my case.
But
I don't know if Phillip Rivers will get in
he
my book.
deserves it.
Not according to me.
But what's on my mind is Trent Coles. Trenton Coles. Trenton Coles is one of the great WPIL track stars, basketball players, and football players from Clairton High School. And I tell you what, one of the fastest guys in the country. Trenton Coles was 6'3".
How fast was he?
4.340 in high school, 6'3", 180 pounds. You remember Trenton Coles? That's a little bit before your time. But
He
hey,
just told you how old he is. How's that gateway math working out?
yeah, but
That's what I thought.
but
Not at
Trent,
all.
but Trenton Coles, he was up there with Carl Lewis and Clinton Davis as three of the fastest players in Pennsylvania history. His mother, Marla Puryear, was a state 100-meter dash champion. His grandfather, Norman Jones, was a 100-meter dash champion. So he had the great DNA. Did it all for Clairton High School. He was a punter. He was a field goal kicker. He was a wide receiver. He was a quarterback. He was a defensive back. Being recruited by every school in the country. I'm covering the WPIL championships at Heinz Field. I'm sitting in between my high school coach, Pete Annamarino, the legend, and Chuck Clausing.
Wow.
Is on both sides.
CMU.
So I'm not paying attention to the game, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, because I'm talking to these two legends. Already got my story written. I already got a 2-page story written, and it's all about Trenton Coles.
When did he get hurt?
After the game, he got hurt in the state championship game.
Okay.
After the game, I go into the locker room. It was easy to find the coach because he was the only white thing in the locker room. Al Levine, the Talking Machine. Hell, happy Black History Month, by the way. So I go grab the coach. It was easy to find. I said, Coach. I said, what was the difference? I think Derek Moy played for Rochester. I said, Coach, what was the difference between your team and Rochester? And I just knew he was going to say Trenton Coles, which was going to complete my story. Al Levine, the Talking Machine, I had to tear up my notes. He said, the difference is we got Tyler Boyd and they don't. I'm like, who's Tyler Boyd? I'm saying to myself, because don't forget, Clairton was averaging about 70 points a game, Chip, so you had all these guys scoring all the time. Tyler Boyd was his junior running back. I had to go back and rewatch films and redo my whole story. He ended up in his career having 123 touchdowns. And I remember Gateway was great his senior year. So his junior, from his junior to his senior year, I see these guys for Gateway who never gives nobody no credit. I see them at the gas station. They come back from 7-on-7. I says, how'd you guys do? They said, we did pretty good. But there's this guy from Clairton named Tyler Boyd that was great. I'm like, what? Then Tyler Boyd never played wide receiver in his life, went to the Big 33 game, MVP at wide receiver, Went on to have a great 3 years at Pitt, didn't get his degree, and now he's playing in the Super Bowl. Congratulations to Tyler Boyd. His coach told me. I didn't know who he was. I knew Trenton Coles. Tyler Boyd ended up being the man. And that's what's on my mind.
This must be a great New Year beginning.
I hate Clareton.
Yeah, I just wanted to get that out. And Smoking Jim knew where I was going. He has me trained like that dog.
You know, he's got a dilemma because he's got the other Pitt athlete on the Los Angeles Rams, and who does he hate more, Clareton or Penn Hills?
No, that's what I wanted to bring out.
You know?
Smoking Jim is in his own little world here. That's my BFF. Love him dearly, but again, I got to disagree with him 100%. And we're going to move on to we're going to move on to Chip.
Okay, everybody. Now, been a bit of a hectic week for me. Don't really have anything prepared for Chip's trivia this evening. I do have a couple of points of view I want to speak on. In memory of Black History Month, moving forward for every other Tuesday this month, we'll be going back and revisiting the stars of the Negro Leagues. So I'll put together some pretty interesting things about some players that Smoking Jim knows all about.
No, he doesn't.
Well, maybe one or two. But to speak to a couple of issues. Last Tuesday night, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens failed on their final attempt to be elected into the Hall of Fame. Now, here's the thing that I have to say about that. I am getting sick and tired of seeing memes saying, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens belong in the Hall of Fame. Well, let me tell you something. If they belonged in the Hall of Fame, they had 10 chances to get elected by the people that are responsible for electing members into the Hall of Fame, and they failed. So do they deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? The answer to that question is no. If they deserved it, they would have got voted in. End of story. Same thing about another player who will remain nameless, who's never going to get in the Hall of Fame, maybe 100 years after he dies, but that would be fine with me. So there's
Your points are well taken, Chip.
there's that to consider. So, you know, they had 10 years to prove that they were worthy, and apparently more people thought they weren't than thought that they were. So it is what it is. Quit your crying. Move on.
Well, I'll just add this for the ones that want to cry. The Baseball Writers Association is a special group of people. So we understand that.
Well, see, different from other professional sports, the Baseball Hall of Fame is not just about what you did on the field. It's also what you did off the field can affect your election into the Hall. It's not like that in professional football. It's not like that in the National Hockey League. Yes, sir.
I have a quick trivia. Everybody, it's for everybody. You don't have to answer it to the end of the show if you don't get it. I know my captain, A1, probably knows it. When was the last Heisman Trophy winner drafted as a rookie by Pittsburgh? And not Michael Vick.
And why would A1 know this?
He's my captain. He listen, Michael Vick played for the Steelers, but not as a rookie. So think about that. When's the last Heisman Trophy winner get drafted as a rookie by Pittsburgh? And so think about that. That's good trivia.
I've got to guess.
Happy Black History Month. Yeah, guess again.
Well, Smoking Jim's usually late to the party, and it's unusual that he comes up with Black History Month so quick. It's usually the second week when he starts because he just found out about it. I think Black History should be every month of the year, to be honest with you.
So, does everybody know what happened in 1984?
You're a beast.
1984 was the last time
You're a beast.
a Los Angeles football team won the Super Bowl.
Wow.
Oh, who was the Los Angeles football team that won the Super Bowl that year? The Los Angeles Raiders.
Wow.
Okay?
Interesting.
Good job.
Los Angeles Rams are going to win this year's Super Bowl Mark my words.
You went out on a limb on that one, huh?
Wow, you
I
heard
said,
it.
I said this last week before the conference championships.
All right, we're going to just move. We don't have a graphic for the next guy because I just brought him in off the street since Nick can't be here. So we'll go to Anthony, all dressed in pink.
Yeah. For my segment, I'll just talk about two small things real quick. One will be the Super Bowl, and the other will be the Pro Bowl real quick.
Thanks for your guidance.
I'm bringing up the Pro Bowl because they actually put Najee Harris and Deontay Johnson in this week, which is, I think they deserve to be in it either way. Deontay a little bit iffy since he's been dropping passes left and right recently.
Only towards the end of the season when it counted.
But Najee, I think he deserved to be in it more than Joe Mixon from the start because of the O-line the Steelers had, and he had almost the same yardage, and they had a way worse O-line in my opinion.
I agree with you 100%, and the break Franco's record on top of it.
Yeah, I think that he should have been in the Pro Bowl no matter what. And for the Super Bowl, I'm going to talk about very briefly, and then we can move on to you, Al.
Whoa!
I think I agree with Chip. I do think the Rams are going to win. And I'd rather see the Rams win, even though I like Joe Burrow a lot, and I feel like he deserves a Super Bowl ring. I feel like he's going to have plenty more chances because he's a superstar already, in my opinion.
Whoa.
But I feel that the Rams are going to win, and I think that Matt Stafford does deserve a ring since he had to deal with the Browns version of the Lions in the NFC his whole career. So him getting a ring would mean a lot since he had to deal with this. So it was so bad. The Lions were, people don't remember, they also went 0-16.
Yes.
Just like the Browns did.
I do remember.
And I don't know if was Matt Stafford on that team. I think he might not have been.
No, I don't think.
But either way,
No, he when Matt Stafford was in Detroit for 12 years, so he very well could have played on one of those.
Yeah, he may have
stellar.
been.
yeah,
Yeah, he could have been. Now that I think about it.
I just feel like he deserves it more than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is a great athlete, but in my opinion, Matt Stafford's been through too much with the Lions that he deserves a ring more
I
than.
like your traditional thinking on this.
He deserves
I like
it.
this.
And OBJ deserves a ring too, since he's
Whoa.
amazing.
Did you see Joe Burrow's diamond chain? The black players is rubbing off on him. They asked him if it was all real diamonds. He said, yeah.
He said, unlike Smoking Jim, he said, with the money that I make, they're real
I
diamonds.
thought it was Deion Sanders in that commercial.
Hey, those are great points there.
Good job.
Thank
good
you,
job,
Anthony.
man.
Well taken, and I got to agree with you.
Anthony, I just to give you an idea, talking about, I think Joe Burrow is definitely the real deal.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. But I remember another local fan favorite who went to the Miami Dolphins. And very early in his career,
Good point.
he went to they went to the Super Bowl and he played against Joe Montana. I'm talking about Danny Marino, and everybody thought that for the next half a dozen years they were going to watch Montana and Marino in the Super Bowl together. Never made it back.
Well,
That's true.
all I can say on that is Shula was one of the greatest coaches,
Yeah.
but he didn't have the rest of the team to complement and help Dan
He
Marino
didn't
out.
follow Chuck Noll's recipe.
Right,
He had the offense. Defenses win championships.
right. No, so he is a Hall of Famer, and those things happen.
Yeah, I just think that Matt Stafford deserves it more. Just
Oh,
because.
I would love to. It's a great story. I would like to see him win it, and I'd also like to see Aaron Donald,
Yeah, Aaron Donald too.
win the trophy. I think Aaron Donald has done things the right way.
I can live
From
with
the high school that Jim will remain nameless to Jim,
Penn Hills.
through his career at Pitt, to 3 NFL Defensive Player of the Year awards.
Yeah.
And who's going to win it this year?
TJ Watt.
There you go.
Yeah, he's gonna. If he doesn't, then that's gonna be ridiculous.
No, very, very true. Hey, points are well taken. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Just so they know that I thought he did very well last week, and I actually thought Anthony did a little better this week, and he was much more calmer.
Not
this
as
week.
nervous. Not as nervous. Yeah.
He was, and I told him it gets better. Hey, thanks Dan Duff for watching. Thanks all of you for watching this, and then we're going to move on. With live TV and our monitors unavailable to watch, I love that graphic. And guess who did On Location? Anthony right here. It pumps me up to see it.
right.
I got to pump him up because on location we've been all around the city, from Atria's PNC Park, Duke's Rib House and Grill, River City Inn, you name it, we've been there. Different places with boxing. On location, February 19th, 6 o'clock, USS Fight Academy, 1712 North Versailles, Lincoln Highway. Check it out. We always have a great show. USS Cunningham, the pro boxer with his pro family, and Livy Cunningham, shout out to them. Jim Santamaro for texting me up to get us there. We will be there filming and announcing that fight. You can get tickets if you check out USS Fight Academy and want to go there. Great venue, great boxing there, and just great people there that run it, so it's always great. Then March 5th, Jose Carabella of Ray Schaefer Boxing. We're going to find out the location to be announced March 5th. So they're even going to have a special area for me to be safe, and Smoke and Jim can hang outside. And we'll be announcing boxing because we'll have a little, he can watch on his phone. We'll just have it there.
A little update on the Penguins.
Yes.
Scores 2-2, first period, and a Russian did score a goal. It was Malkin, not Ovechkin.
Thank you, Chip. That's appreciated more than you know, because that one-trick pony from Ovi, we'll see what he can do. So, and he's getting older, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, but we're going to be, Jose Carabella has said we're going to have many more boxing matches, and then we're going to do a series of shows in one of his gyms where I go back to interviewing with Smoke and Jim Frazier, different boxers and sports people. So we will be trying to do our Pittsburgh Sportsline show on location, hence the on location logo that we go by. So Anthony, you may have to put another couple flags on there. All right, so we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Think of Sharpsburg and Millvale. So we'll be doing that. And we're gonna come back. We're doing graphics instead of commercials because we started commercials years ago, and somebody asked me what I thought about it, Nick, and I said, I don't like commercials, I like the graphics because I like us to maximize our talking for 60 minutes.
Yes, sir.
And we only lose about a minute at the beginning and a minute at the end. So 58 minutes of Pittsburgh Sportsline talk, entertainment, some nonsense, some opinions, and we're just having fun. So stay tuned. In about 5 seconds, 10 seconds, Penguin talk. You know what? I'm in shock. This young man has come on since being an intern, now volunteer. Just hearing Ryan's voice pumped me up. He gives the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 perfectly. And we're going to talk some Penguins. 3-game losing streak. Chip gave you the update, 2-2. People, don't fear. We won 17 out of 19 games. And when you go on a streak like that with the Sully plan and how they play the system the way it's supposed to be, offense, defense, aggressive, you just know that you're going to wear out at some time and there's going to be a little bit of a downturn, and we still got points. So we're doing well, and it's been an exceptional year in my book with not having your stars at 100%.
Well, you actually hit the nail right on the head with what's going on with the Penguins. They played a lot of games in a short period of time. And, the Penguins system that Mike Sullivan has imparted has the first forward going in deep and chasing the puck. The other two forwards go in and they try to keep the other team from getting the puck out of their end.
Right.
Now, the way the system's supposed to work is the two defensemen, the blue liners, have the ability to go in and cheat to
help out.
But when they go in to cheat, one of the forwards is supposed to come back to cover their position. They've been getting a little lackadaisical on it, and they've got to get back and get back on their details. Because when they play the system the way that they have been playing it, they're a very hard team to beat. And then, by getting control of the puck in the other team's zone,
right.
Well, obviously, if you've got control in their zone, your goaltender doesn't have to do much but look pretty.
Right.
Casey DeSmith, his play has been suspect as of late.
Yes.
I like a friend of mine refers to as Tristan Jarry as the Jarry Wall. And he has been playing stellar offense. Now, tonight's the Penguins' last game before the All-Star break.
Right.
And I think that the Penguins players need the rest.
Yeah,
They need a few
Chip,
days off.
I agree.
And they need to get back to practice, and they need to get back on their details. Because if they continue to play the system that they played leading up to the All-Star break,
Right.
they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in, moving forward and going into the playoffs this spring. Now, I still believe they probably need a backup goaltender that's more reliable than Casey DeSmith has been.
Right.
So that's
It
going to be
seems
on
that
Ron
way.
Hextall to see what kind of moves he can make without screwing up the core of the team that they've got, because they've been playing very well as a unit up until now.
No, I got to agree with you on that. And I got to bring up Bob Prince's name, because when we get streaks in baseball, football, Penguins, I
Hidden
always,
vigorous.
yes, I got to bring up Hidden Vigorish. I let Chip blurt it out. He always said the Hidden Vigorish, when they're on a losing streak, they're getting closer to that win.
Every game they lose is one game closer to the next winning streak.
This may be the 4th Vigorish in a row.
Yeah, well,
No, that's not the Vigorish, buddy. That's not the Vigorish.
But I've been hoping that Crosby get his 500 goal.
yeah, for Sid Crosby's 498 goals. He does not have one of the tallies tonight. Brian Rust and Evgeny Malkin have scored for the
Rust
Penguins.
is unbelievable. Look what
Yeah.
he's doing.
Well,
He's not going to be with the Penguins next year.
Well,
I don't see how
we'll
we
see what
keep
kind
him.
of magic they can work with the cap.
I don't know how we
Because
do it.
right now, as we stand right now, Chris Letang is a free agent at the end of the season. He takes up a big chunk of the salary cap.
I know some people don't like this, but Letang, the last 2 years, his game has improved tremendously, and I didn't see how it could even happen. But he makes less mistakes and less turnovers.
But
and
the
he's
fact
even
that
made some great defensive plays.
is he willing to sign a team-friendly contract? In this day and age, everybody wants every dime that they can get.
Chip, I'll explain this. I heard, I listen to Mark Madden once in a while. I can take about 10 minutes.
I was going to say it's pretty painful, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's 10 minutes, but he had a guy I like, Mike Rupp. And, he's on the NHL Network and stuff, and he's very informative. And he said, because Madden brought up about, I don't believe Letang will take the Pittsburgh discount. And he goes, it happened to me on a smaller scale. When they start offering money because you're doing well, you start thinking, hey, this is my last chance for this money, and it's more than any discount, and I'm set for life even more so. So he said that tempts most players. They'll tell you when it comes down to it that they're thinking about, like Chip said, little discount, why not? You're still a multimillionaire. But he said, and that was an interesting point, that they get tempted by those extra millions that they put out there. And I understand that's human nature.
It's human nature, and you have to look at what he made over his career, and did he invest wisely?
Well, I heard rumors that he talked to Smoking Jim.
He'd be sleeping under a bridge.
Well, and he's raising a family, so I know
He's going to be
money.
down at the light of life.
Yes. So we know just recently, if you don't bet, don't start. If you do bet, do the opposite of Smoking Jim. And because he was 2-2, with the betting, or no, he was 1-1, 1 loss. So I don't know how you make money when there's something called hidden vigorish on gambling, on everything. Like, he doesn't tell us 100% the truth, but I know there's a little bit of cut for each
Can
time.
I ask you hockey experts a question? Because I don't know the answer, and I know people will probably be interested. Can you tell me how many career goals Ovechkin has?
Ovechkin maybe
600 something. But
No,
Smoking
I
Jim,
bet
when
he
you
might
try
even
to
be-
make fun of us, and
I'm
that-
just asking.
no, but
I'm
here's
just asking.
let me explain what is so. I won't call it dumb, but when you say
know.
it's not dumb, but when you truly support a guy, you usually know about them. And this is why Gateway people in general that I know are suspect. Because if you know, then you can tell us. Now, when he says that, he's trying to put it on us because he knows I don't like Ovechkin.
759.
Woo! Crosby's only 259 away.
Yeah, I know. But
You know he missed 2 years.
Crosby's got something that Ovechkin doesn't have. 2 gold medals, 3 Stanley Cups. Crosby made the players on the teams he played with better.
Crosby's great. I'm just saying. Wow,
No,
it's
what
a
I'm
big
saying,
difference.
Smoking Jim, you're so disrespectful. It's ridiculous.
Ovechkin is a great individual talent in a team game.
Well, he's
Great point, Chip.
third in the league in assists this year.
Well, Smoking Jim's the guy that believes if you're not cheating, you're not trying. So the philosophy that he has is sort of
I just like him. He's my favorite player. Can I have a favorite player?
No, well, what's funny is usually you believe the last person that talks to you, but because we disagree with you, you don't believe anything and you don't want to listen. So,
So, Smoking Jim and I were having a conversation off the air on the way here. And believe it
oh
or
my
not,
goodness.
he found a way here today without crossing a bridge. He's a little bit worried. Ever since the Fernholler Bridge came tumbling down, he's a little bit gun shy. So he found his way here from Monroeville, and don't ask him how he got here, because he drives around like Mr. Magoo.
Believe me, I've been with them. I won't share that story, but next
So,
week I'll share the
To
story
wrap
with the
up our
sun
sports,
shining.
we're getting down to the last minute of the show. Supposedly, the talks resumed today between Major League Baseball and the Players Association. And they're 2 weeks away from when spring training is going to start. Do I foresee an agreement being in place by then? The answer to that question is no. Because
Chip,
they're piddling around. Nobody wants to fix what's broken or have enough courage to admit what's broken.
Well, Chip, I'm no expert, but I've talked to you negotiating 6 multi-million-dollar contracts. Here's what amazed me. Sometimes you negotiate 6 months. Sometimes you negotiate a year. But what I found out, when the company, hence the billionaires, are ready, it'll happen. And that's what we're waiting for when they're ready.
So here's what my thing. You hit it on the head. You've negotiated contracts. That requires 2 parties to get together and negotiate.
Yes.
Well, if you don't negotiate, you can't come to an agreement.
That's my point. When the billionaires are ready, then they can start talking. And thanks for Jim Ellenbogen, who I just interviewed on the Talking Machine. Please stay Joey strong.